We're going to talk about the Zener and the Curvebender, the newest Abbey Road products we have. It's kind of a nice project we all work together on to kind of take the old circuits and make them as modern and effective and versatile as possible. And I worked closely with Pete Cobbin, the head engineer at Abbey Road, especially on the Curvebender. What this is essentially it's the EQ section out of the Beatle desk or the Pink Floyd desk, and this section here is essentially the Dark Side of the Moon console chain with some expansions for modern day. So we took the original 2-band, overlapped all the frequencies onto 4, and filled in the gaps as much as we could by copying the curves to new spots, and we added bell and shelf for the top, and a high and low filter. So you essentially have a 6-band out of what was originally a 2-band EQ, and the EQ does have some germanium transistors in it, so it has a nice flavor. It's not an overdone kind of vintage sound. It's very smooth, warm, and Dark Side of the Moon. What can you say? So the Zener Limiter is, again, we took the original TG1 and wanted to expand it and make it all that it could be, just like being in the Army. And so we importantly added 11-position attack, very effective, 21 positions of release, which is able to actually repeat the same release settings as on the TG1. So 21, so you have a whole bunch of in-between settings, so you can really tune the kind of action of the compressor to the song. My favorite part about the Zener is the side chain. You can roll the frequency out that the compressor will see up to 300 hertz, and really, really effective. It makes the unit usable in just about any situation, whereas the original limiter is quite aggressive and sometimes might be a little colored, a little too much. This, you can easily, just by rolling this out, throw it over a mix, use it on an acoustic guitar, and just gently touch it, and you get that awesome character of the Beatle desk or the Floyd desk, and really makes it a much more effective unit. The other thing we added was a Comp 2 setting, which is essentially half the limit circuit and half the compressed circuit. So it's the speed of the limit with the comp curve and ratio of the compressor. So it ends up being an in-between setting, and we've got a lot of good comments about how that's kind of a new aspect of the unit, and I quite like that myself. Stepped input, stepped output right here. You can actually switch the input gain from high to low, which is changing the impedance of the front of this. So say if you had a TG1, the high gain input would correspond to a TG1. The low gain is 6 dB lower in level, so you can drive the unit less, again, to make it a little more flexible and not quite as aggressive if you want. So I think that covers it, but the new Abbey Road units, if you want the Dark Side of the Moon or Beatle sound, you can't get any closer than that. So cheers.